The reality is you can burn calories, but you can't burn off bad food.
Hustle and Fit family. First off, thank you guys for showing up and watching this video. I have an amazing guest, Parsons. I hope I said that correctly. She is a nutritionist, a personal trainer. She does amazing things like online nutrition plans and everything like that. And then on top of it, she's just making, health and nutrition really fun. And we reached out to kind of get more information on how we can basically, get the look and the life that we want through nutrition and health. So Katie, welcome to the Hustle and Fit family. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
It's going good. How is it out there for you right now?
We're still on lockdown, so it's, I'm still obviously not back to work and working from home. So it's strange how it's becoming the new normal at the moment, but it's looking on the bright side here in New Zealand with cases going down. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And I guess the first question would be how did you get into personal training and being a nutritionist? So what's your story and how did that all start?
My story sort of begins, well, when I was younger, I was really unhealthy. I was not athletic at all. I hated PE at school. I was just so unfit and I just had no confidence or anything like that. And when I was about 17, I started going to a gym. And I basically just started feeling way more confident. And once I started paying attention to what I was consuming, that's when I gained interest in nutrition. And I never wanted anyone else to feel the way that I did and so much lack of self-confidence. So I really wanted to help other people achieve what I did. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then I've just been, I became a personal trainer and I've been doing that for 5 years. And then I did a nutrition degree and now I'm a nutritionist. And it's awesome. That's how I got into it.
Wow, that's amazing. And I actually seen some of the great results you've had on your Instagram. How does a regular person go from, unhealthy to, what are some of the steps to get to where they want to go, essentially, that you would say?
It completely depends on the person. So what I will tend to do is kind of talk to them and really get to know them and know about their lifestyle, their work, whether they've exercised before. I'll get them to do a food diary for a week so I know exactly how they're normally eating. And you basically just make small adjustments based on their current lifestyle so that's an easy transition. Because there's so many people who if you give them one set plan, they will follow it to a T. But when it's personalized, that's when it really works.
So that it's the personalization that makes it possible for people to get better results.
100%. If it's not personalized, you can get some results, but you won't get the, specific results that you're after because it's just not tailored to you.
So, okay. So question for you. This is going to be I pretty much probably people already know this, but what would you say is what are the three main elements for people to kind of, get the results they want? And what would you say were the three things that they should be focusing on?
Three things. Well, number one is what you're putting in your body.
Got it.
So if you're not eating right, and this is where there is so much conflict with nutrition, but the reality is you can burn calories, but you can't burn off bad food, which basically means that you can't burn off toxins and, all of the saturated fat buildup and cholesterol and all of these other nasty things that are in processed foods, and MSG and all these additives, preservatives, all of these things, you can't burn those off. So this is where you can see people will lose weight eating bad, food, but that comes down to the calorie deficit, not the food itself. Whereas obviously if you eat well, then you'll have a, complete health and you'll achieve what you want. So nutrition is number one. But then it comes down to, it completely depends on what you're aiming for. So exercise obviously is secondary, but it completely depends on what your goals are, whether you want to gain muscle or whether you want to lose weight, or if you just want to get fitter or stronger. So, this is where your training ties into your nutrition. So, you want your nutrition to back up your training. So if you're an athlete, you're going to eat completely different and you're going to train completely different to someone who's just a regular day-to-day person that wants to lose a little bit of weight, or, just wants to tone up a little bit, or even gain a little bit of muscle, or a bodybuilder is completely different again. So, the exercise and energy output is another one. The third aspect comes down to, I don't even know if I could put it into three, there's so many aspects. Thing, this is a really, really big one that I don't think people are as aware of, is sleep. Sleep and stress, basically. So if you're not getting enough rest, and you're putting a lot of stress on your body, more stress means you can't necessarily build as much muscle, you can't lose as much fat, your hormones aren't working properly. And then basically everything all your hard work, whether you're training really well and you're eating really well, if you're not sleeping and resting, and if you're really stressed, you're not going to get what you want.
That's interesting. Actually, that's the first time I've ever really heard that. So then, what would you say is a good amount? I know, I guess everyone's going to be different, but how much would you say an average person be trying to get sleep-wise if they are, exercising and doing all their life? Like, what would you say the minimum they should be trying to hit?
Between 7 and 10 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's you can function off of 6 hours. But the ideal for retaining lean muscle mass and, properly recovering and metabolizing, between 7 and 10 hours. Yeah.
So, okay, that's pretty cool. And you did mention that if you're a regular person compared to an athlete and a bodybuilder, they have different structures that they need to follow. But let's say you're a girl or a guy that wants to get that look, that shredded. I mean, the physique that they want. How can they do that but they're still working a 9-to-5 job? Like, how can that even be, and is that even possible, really?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're working a 9-to-5, my math is terrible. It's 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
There's 24 hours in a day, 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours whatever else. So anyone says that they're working a 9-to-5 and they don't have time, that is not true. You just need to split your day into 3. You've got 8 whole hours to meal prep, train, hang out with your friends and family, chill out, do whatever you want to do. Like, and I don't think people utilize that enough. And so, yeah, if you are working a 9-to-5, I would suggest 8 hours, so that you do have another 8 hours of spare time. There's plenty of hours in the day. You've just got to make it work for you. It is a real struggle for people who are on shift work. So people who work, obviously, some days, some nights, the schedule's all over the place to get a routine. But that's where preparation comes in. Like, if you're really committed to getting things done, you can make it work.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And actually, you mentioned meal prep. I don't know if you know this, but the Hustle and Fit bag, I have to do a plug, is all about having your meals inside of the bag. So how important is meal prep for, the busy person?
It's so important. I mean, it just completely, again, depends on the person. Like, with my routine, now that I'm finished with uni and I'm just, I've just got clients and online work, I've got the flexibility to either go home between clients and make my lunch and then go back, or if I'm going to train after my morning clients, I'll bring my lunch with me, so I'll prepare it. But for people who are working a 9-to-5, it's so much easier to go and buy something than it is to make something. So you've just got to commit to yourself. But like I said, if you're working 8 hours, sleeping 8 hours, you've got 8 hours in the like of spare time, whether you do that before or after work, to get it done. And it's so fast. Like there's so many ways you can make it fast and still eat healthy as well. Like you've got like microwavable rice, you've got steam bags. Like I use a bag called a Super Chef bag, and it is like the best thing ever. You just get this little container and you put it in the bag, and you can make your whole meal in the microwave in 5 minutes. That's meat, veg, carbs, everything. And it's just so easy. So there are so many ways of doing it quickly. You know, grabbing a salad bag of rice and a tin of tuna is not hard. It's really not hard. So when it comes to meal prep, it sounds really daunting because it sounds like it takes a really long time. But it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's just about making the time, basically.
Yeah, I mean, meal prep doesn't take a lot of time. You just got to know how to do it.
Yeah. So you guys heard that Katie said it doesn't take a lot of time. You got to go and meal prep.
I don't have enough time. I don't believe them.
And then, so for myself now, I'm trying to get, I'm more of a bigger, heavier set guy. I'm trying to cut down and stuff like that. And I want to have.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, am I breaking up?
Oh, no, you're good now. You might just have to repeat what you said. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem. No, I was just saying I'm more of a heavy set guy. And if I wanted to get shredded, how many times, I know that nutrition is a big piece and factor, but in terms of like the training methodology, how many times should I be going to the gym, and what kind of like exercises should I be doing to get, a more shredded, more, lean looking look for myself?
So there's kind of two ways you can do it. I've got two methods that I use. So is this for growing muscle, or is this for like losing fat, or is it kind of a combination of the two?
Losing fat, and I'll take the combination of the two, actually.
The combination of the two.
But mostly losing fat. Losing fat, though.
Yeah, well, what I would do in that situation is put you on a PPL routine, which is basically you've got, you don't necessarily have to go a number of times a week. You go whenever you can or when you want to, because you want to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to maintain it, right? So basically what you do is you do push, pull legs, and then you go again, push, pull legs. The good thing about doing that is that you're not double training muscle groups, whether you have a rest day or not, because you're always doing the push, pull legs. So you could train every day if you wanted to. But if you have a rest day, you just start from where you left off. So if you finished on pull, you'd start again on legs, and then you'd go push, pull, and then just keep going. And in terms of exercises, if you're wanting to lose fat and gain muscle, compound movements. So this is where you go for your bench, your squat, your deadlift, your pull-ups, military press, and then you can do variations like your dumbbell press, your flies, and the accessory to all of like those muscle groups. But you basically want to stick to the big compound movements, and no matter what, if you always refer back to those main strength movements, you're always going to be able to gain some muscle and burn a lot of calories as well.
Awesome. Great. That's some really good advice. And actually that kind of brings up to another point. What are some of the misconceptions that mess people up from hitting their overall goals? Like things that are out there that people are always saying, like for instance, one thing I've heard is like for women, they say, oh my God, if I lift heavy weights, I'm going to become massive. And then you're like, no, that's not going to happen. But like,
you know how hard those bodies work to get that big. Like that is a massive misconception. Like the women who are massive have worked so hard to get that big. But then you can also have a body type like mine, like a mesomorph, which I put on muscle quite easily. And that's where people get worried. It's not so much for people who are endomorph. It depends on your body type. So if you've got a body type like mine, I find that if I say do a lot of squats, a lot of legs, my legs will just grow. And I don't mind having muscle. I love having muscle. But it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to calm down, just because for my personal preference, I don't want them to grow anymore. So that is one. So just keep in mind that people who are massive work really hard to get there. So it's, and they eat a lot. lot, like pretty much just shoving food down. So I wouldn't worry about that. The second misconception, this is really, and again, it depends on your goals, but what I would say is that people don't think it's worth going to the gym, even if you only do a lazy workout, right? So say if your goal is weight loss and you've been there for like 5 minutes and you're just like, oh, I just can't be bothered. Like, I may as well just go home. Or like, I can't be bothered going to the gym. I'm going to do next to nothing. I may as well not go. That is a huge misconception, because every single time, even if you only go for 20 minutes, if you went for 20 minutes, like 3 times a week, that's an hour. It accumulates. So even if you go in and do your best and you're like, look, I just can't do it today, every little bit really does count. So I think that's so important. When you can't be bothered, go and do what you feel like doing, do what you can. Worst case scenario, just do a few, lazy weights on the bench where you can lie down, or just go for a walk and just get something done, because those little efforts really make a big difference in the long run. And yeah, it really does make a huge difference. So wow. Yeah, that is one. Also for, people thinking that you're going to build a lot of muscle just doing isolation exercise. So for example, if you're sitting there and you just go to the gym and all you're doing is some lateral raises and some bicep curls and that kind of thing, and maybe some tricep push downs, and not incorporating compound movements, you're not going to get the growth you want. So yeah, start doing big, heavy compound movements, and that's when and use the isolation exercises as an accessory to those. And yeah, I mean, unless you're just like, I really want to pump up my biceps, then go for it. Like, that's fine. If you've got one area that you just really want to pump up, by all means go for it. But this is where it all comes down to what your goals are, really, how you would prescribe training.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's like a lot of good info. And okay, so
I'm so glad that you think so.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of great information. I'm learning a lot actually too, especially with the sleep area too. I never really, put that into play with the sleeping patterns. That's also very big for me as well.
So important. I think it's something that, because we've done it every day our whole lives, we don't think about. So
yeah, and especially with muscle recovery and all those other things, I think that's the kind of, I guess because with all the stuff that's happening, everyone's just like, go, hit the metal weight, go crazy. But then you forget, you do need that rest day, or you do need that time to recover.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to lose fat as well, if you've got too much cortisol in your systems, and cortisol is your stress hormone, and if you're not sleeping enough, it just rises and rises, and that's what makes you hold awkward areas of fat, because when your body's under stress, it goes into survival mode. And what does survival mode do? It stores fat. It stores everything. So yeah, so important.
And I actually have one question. This is more for the crowd of people that like are in business and stuff like this. The question is, because I had a change in my life because fitness kind of helped me to propel to the next level, not just from my physical standpoint, but also mentally and stuff like that. One of the questions I have is, why is it important for people to get healthy and fit so that they can succeed in other areas of their lives, like running a business or like doing better at their career? How does fitness play into all other aspects of everyday life?
Discipline and consistency with that discipline would probably be on the top of my head, because commitment, like if you commit to yourself, if you're able to commit to yourself, and a business is an extension of yourself. If you can't control what's going inside your body, or, how you're exerting your energy, how are you going to exert energy into something else to grow? So yeah, it all comes down to just commitment, discipline, persistence, having that drive. If you don't have the drive to look after yourself, you probably won't have the drive to build a business. But that's a generalization. Like, some people are great business people who can't look after their health. So but I do believe that, everything that you can incorporate into your training, and like making your training regime work, or, your holistic health approach, can definitely be used in a business sense.
Awesome. Thank you, actually, and I agree. So where can everyone find you, like if they want to get more information, and what are you working on right now?
I'm working on an app at the moment.
Oh,
I should have a version 1 of this in a few weeks' time, so I'm really excited because I was looking for a more sustainable and efficient way of being able to help more people. Because at the moment, I'm just doing my online coaching by email through PDFs, which is fine, but it's going to be a lot easier having everything through the app. So you'll be able to chat to me through it. You'll have your nutrition and your training plans, which will get updated and on a certain time scale and all that kind of thing. So look out for Katie Fit. That's going to be the app on the App Store. I'm also on Instagram, Katie Parsons Fitness. I post a lot of workout videos and recipes and advice and everything else on there, as well as some of my client progress. And I do have a Facebook page as well, which is Katie Parsons Fitness, but that's linked to my Instagram. So if you do want to check out what I do, Instagram's probably the way to go. And then you can find out any info about my app and new website coming up.
Awesome. And I have one final question. If you could leave the world with one thing about health and fitness, what would you want to leave the world with that would change a lot of people's lives?
There's no point if you don't love yourself, because it's kind of like, well, that was, I think that if you love yourself, you treat your body right, and you treat your body right if you love yourself. Like what else? What else is your motive? Like I feel like it all should come down to that. It shouldn't be coming down to like, I want to look this way, but but it doesn't make you feel better. It's so much more than what your body looks like. It's what goes on inside. It's your relationship with yourself, and how you take care of yourself. Self-love should be the goal in the end.
That was powerful. Katie, thank you so much. Everybody, you need to go check Katie out. Get that app. It's going to be awesome. Once again, Katie, thank you so much for being with us today. And everyone, hustle and stay fit.